remember what you said before? I'm always with you too. I'll come back to you. I promise.
I know you will.
There's no doubt about it, and it's no secret that Kingdom Hearts was made for a younger audience. But if you know Kingdom Hearts the way I do, then you know that Kingdom Hearts is kind of a tragic story. They kind of tackle mature concepts in a very family-friendly way, whether it be from a character literally offing themselves, another character going into a coma, another one having their body taken, or forgetting all of their memories. Aside from the memes, if you know Kingdom Hearts, then it's a lot more than just Mickey Mouse holding a Keyblade. And I'm going to be diving into how tragic these things actually are. I'm going to go through the games in chronological order of how they came out, not their actual timeline. So let's start with Kingdom Hearts 1. Kingdom Hearts 1 is a beautiful game and the start of an amazing journey for the character that we know and love. We already know the story, but one thing that we kind of forget is that they're just kids. Sora, Kairi, and Riku are all islanders that are just looking to explore other worlds. One night, a darkness hits their island, takes Sora, takes Kairi, and takes Riku, but they all end up in different places. Sora immediately gets acquainted with Donald and Goofy and makes it a mission to go find his friends Riku and Kairi. But at the same time, Riku is taking a darker path to find his friends. As Sora continues with his journey, he comes across Riku a couple times, but Riku is not the same person that he's always known. Riku now has this kind of darkness to him, and every world he goes to, he kind of plagues with a problem that Sora has to end up fixing. It isn't until you get to the world of Monstro that you understand Riku's true intentions. He also wants to save Kairi, but he's not going about it in the morally righteous way. And this is also because of Maleficent's influence on him throughout the entire game. Now we're moving into the area where the tragedy really starts to begin. So Sora makes it to Hollow Bastion and he's greeted by Riku yet again, but all he does is steal the Keyblade away from him. And this really gets to Sora because all he's been trying to do was save him. So at this point, you feel very alone, even though you have Beast. You eventually get your Keyblade back, you get Donald and Goofy back, and you keep on going. Once you make it to the top, you finally have to fight Riku, and after you defeat him, Sora realizes there's only one way to wake Kairi back up and the other princesses, and it's to literally pretty much end his own life. He takes the Keyblade that Riku was able to form and thrusts it through his own chest, with no hesitation and a smile on his face. So the lights are restored to Kairi and the other 7 princesses, but Kairi wakes up and she's not able to catch him before he fades away.
Sora! Huh?
This as a kid and still even as an adult hits very hard. Like I said, Sora and the rest of them are just kids, and the fact that he was willing to do this with no hesitation for Kairi just makes him such a character to me. When you die in this world, you become 2 things, a heartless and a nobody, and Sora became the form of the heartless. But Kairi was able to find him, and because of their connection, he was able to return back to his form. But as you go on, you beat Ansem, and I really like how it's a happy ending, but not really. We're able to beat Ansem and restore the light to all the worlds, but Sora, Kairi, and Riku still can't really be with each other anymore. Or not at the moment, at least. And it's really sad because that's all Sora has been fighting for the entire game, but in the end he doesn't even really get it. Kairi is saved, but she's home alone. Riku has been saved, but he's in the realm of darkness now. And Sora, Donald, and Goofy still have a job to do, soon to reach Castle Oblivion. We were able to get a happy ending for everybody else, but not Sora, Kairi, and Riku just yet. And that wraps up Kingdom Hearts 1. I think this really reminds us that he was just a kid that was doing anything just to be back with his friends. But now we're moving on to the game that I think has the most tragedy and is the most sad, and that's Birth by Sleep.
Ven, I'm sorry. I might not make it back as soon as I thought, but I promise I'll be there one day to wake you up.
Birth by Sleep is about 3 young Keyblade wielders who were all done so wrong. And they're not necessarily kids, but they are of adolescence that just wanted to be the greatest version of themselves. Their names are Terra, Aqua, and Ven, but to start with Ven, in my opinion probably had it the worst. Being a young Keyblade wielder, somebody named Master Xehanort saw a lot of potential in him, a lot of potential to be used in his own dark schemes. Xehanort realized that Ventus wasn't really working out for his plan, so he decided to remove all the darkness from Ventus's heart. But in the process of doing this, he quite literally broke Ventus and shattered his heart. Because of this, Ventus was left in a coma-like state, so Xehanort left him at Destiny Islands to pretty much die. but thankfully that's where Sora lives. Sora, being a kid, was able to reach his heart out to Ventus's so that he could live. He was able to live, but he forgot all the events that happened concerning Master Xehanort. As you're playing as Ven, you're chasing the shadows of Aqua and Terra, just barely catching up to either one of them. The darkness that got taken out of Ven's heart came in the form of a shadow named Vanitas, and all he does to Ven the entire game is just tell him that his life was meant for one thing. Anything else he's trying to do doesn't matter because all he's meant to be is a weapon, used by Master Xehanort. Having learned this, Ven is very distraught, so he goes back home to Master Ericus to find out if it's all true. If he's just supposed to be a weapon, and if Master Ericus was holding him there just to stop that from happening. Ericus confirms all of this, and after this he tries to strike down Ven. Ven is completely distraught by all of this and doesn't even move, but luckily Terra is there to save him. Terra throws him through a portal that takes him to Destiny Islands, and there he sees Vanitas, who finally tells him to end it all at the Keyblade Graveyard. And Ven, being so done with everything, decides to go.
I swear I'll put an end to this.
So he goes, and there he meets Terra and Aqua. They each have their own tragic fate, but I'm gonna talk about them each individually. Starting with Ven, they each have their own sequence of battles, but ultimately it ends with him fighting Vanitas. He first battles him physically, outside, and is able to beat him, but then the real battle happens on the inside. On the outside, Vanitas has completely taken over Ven, but he has a Keyblade, but it's not completely ready yet. If Ven loses the battle on inside, then Vanitas will be able to fully take over. But if he wins, his heart is already completely shattered, and there's no way he's gonna be able to live normally anymore. But he knows this and does it anyway to save his friends.
My friends are my power, and I'm theirs.
He wins the battle, and he goes into a very deep sleep. But on the outside, he's in a coma-like state, and nothing is gonna wake him up. Because of this, his best friend Aqua has to hide him away. And then, that's the end of Ven's story. It's tragic because all he wanted to do was be around his friends, but he was being corrupted and quite literally almost died twice if it wasn't for Sora. And at the end of it all, didn't even get to really live in the end. But Sora was able to keep him in his heart.
Sora, what's wrong? Huh? It's like something's squeezing me inside. Somebody up there must be sad. So maybe there's somebody up there in all those worlds who's really hurting. Maybe they just need you to open your heart and listen.
You gave me something back when I needed it most. A second chance. Would you mind if I stayed here with you?
Sure, if it will make you feel better.
Thank you.
Terra is a young Keyblade wielder that's trying to become a mastery by passing the Mark of Mastery exam. He went head to head with Aqua, but unfortunately he failed. Even though he failed, Master Xehanort still saw a lot of potential in him, and that's only because Master Xehanort wanted to use him as a vessel for himself. So he pretty much encourages Terra to go and get out there in the world and get stronger so that he can pass his exam, but really Xehanort wanted him for himself. Throughout the game, Xehanort is constantly in his ear telling him that he needs to harness the power of darkness to truly be a master. And at some points, Xehanort throws in obstacles of his own to truly bring out the darkness within Terra. On top of this, Xehanort also orchestrated this whole event by having Ven, Terra, and Ericus be in one place. By telling Ven what he was and telling Terra where he was going after that. He used Master Ericus's fears against him and also used that to make Terra stronger and getting Ericus out the way.
I just wanted to keep Ven safe.
And so Terra struck down his own master. Xehanort arrives shortly after, and he tells Terra that it was all a part of his plan and that he needs to meet him at the Keyblade Graveyard to end everything. So Terra goes, and there he meets Ven and Aqua. He tells him that he had to strike Master Ericus down because of what he was trying to do to Ven. So the battle begins, and Xehanort is really pushing it. He nearly kills Aqua, and he nearly kills Ven in front of Terra, all to bring out the anger inside of Terra. Because of this, Terra is able to beat Master Xehanort, but this is exactly what Xehanort wanted. He caught him off guard and he was able to shove his own soul and heart into Terra's body. But he doesn't go out just there. The armor that he wore suddenly forms itself and becomes a walking husk that's very strong and quite literally too angry to die. And this is known as Terra's lingering will. He doesn't let Master Xehanort escape with his body. He's literally able to beat him silly to the point where he doesn't even remember who he is anymore. But his lingering will can't do anything but sit there, so that's exactly what he does. And the explosion from Ven's heart casts them all away. And that's it for Terra. He's now trapped in a subconscious state between him and Master Xehanort, where he's trying to constantly fight for control, but neither of them can win. He needs an outside source to intervene and save him. And it's tragic because Terra was just trying to be the best person he can be for the sake of his friends, but ended up being used as a vessel for somebody else. And that's the end of his story, but not technically. I'm gonna explain that more in Aqua's part, but now I'm gonna move into Aqua's story. After passing her Mark of Mastery exam, and after Terra goes out on his own expedition, Ventus wants to follow him. So Ericus tasks her to go follow Ven and follow Terra to make sure that they're both okay, and to bring Ven home. As Aqua's going through, she's finding out that Terra is tapping into the darkness and leaving a bad mark on the worlds that he's been to. And with Ven following him, she's scared of what will happen to Ven as well. Since Master Xehanort didn't ever really have a plan for her, she kinda was just following in everybody's footsteps the entire game, just trying to make sure that they're safe. As she's traveling, she comes across Mickey and brings him to Master Yensid, and then Master Yensid tells her that Terra and Ven are going to the Keyblade Graveyard to settle things with Master Xehanort, so she meets them there. She's really distraught by a lot of things. Her friend tapping into the darkness, her home being destroyed, and her other friend being really depressed. On top of that, Xehanort shows up, and then her sequence of battles ends with her fighting Breg, who will be later known as Xigbar in the series. After she defeats him, Vanitas shows up, and then that's when he takes over Ven's body. So she has to fight this form of Ventus for a little bit, but then Ventus wins the battle on the inside, and the Keyblade explodes with a burst of power, wiping away the entire region. She wakes up in Yensid's tower, but she doesn't know what happened. She finds that Ven is next to her, and that Mickey saved her. But unfortunately, she realizes that Ven can't be woken up and that he's in a deep, deep sleep. To keep him safe, she decides to hide him away, and takes him back to the land of departure, and turns it into Castle Oblivion. After she hides him away, she goes looking for Terra, because she knows he's still out there. She finds him in Radiant Garden, but something is very wrong with him. He doesn't know who he is, and this is because of what happened in the Keyblade Graveyard. Xehanort was able to take over his body, but he forgot all of his memories. So pretty much, it's a whole new person that doesn't know where they came from or who they are. Nonetheless, they were still hostile to Aqua, so Aqua did what she could to survive and save her friend. Because of the darkness in his heart, he started plunging into the realm of darkness. But Aqua quickly dived in to save Terra. As they were both falling, she realized that only one person can be saved, so she decided to put the armor onto Terra and send him back up to the surface.
I'm with you.
She plunged into the realm of darkness, and this pretty much became her new home. She spent years upon years just wandering the realm of darkness by herself. While she was in the realm of darkness, she was getting plagued with visions of Terra and Ven. Some of them fake and some of them real. Constantly fighting monsters, fighting a dark version of herself. She was there suffering by herself, hoping that Ven was okay and hoping that Terra is okay. Not being able to escape the realm of darkness. Pretty much living in hell. Little did she know that up above, Terra became an entire new person, but he was causing trouble in the worlds. She was able to find Mickey in the realm of darkness, and she found out that there was somebody out there wielding a keyblade, putting a stop to the darkness out there in the world. And she wanted to do what she could to help while she was in the realm of darkness. So she was able to take out hordes of Heartless while Riku was in there as well. And it gave Riku safe passage to be able to close the door so that all the lights can be restored to the worlds. And here she's really an unspoken hero because nobody except Mickey really knows what she did and how she helped. But even then, after that, she still has to be there alone, waiting for somebody to help her. And that's really what's so tragic about Aqua.
You'll know where I am.
It only gets worse as we go on, so let's move on to 358/2 days and talk about our Twilight Town trio. This is another trio that got it pretty bad. It's about Axel, Roxas, and Shion. Just another group of friends that just wanted to be with each other. Unlike Axel, Roxas and Shion are pretty curious on where they came from. Roxas is a nobody of Sora, and he came about when Sora did what he did in Kingdom Hearts 1. And in that moment, Shion was created too. Xemnas took this as a perfect opportunity to make her into pretty much a replica of Sora, to pretty much manipulate her memories and his memories into Shion so that he can make another Keyblade wielder within the organization.
It's just, I remember things about the two of them, but I'm nothing more than a puppet, something that somebody created, so why would I have their memories?
And on top of that, her entire existence is just for the sake of harboring Sora's memories.
Your memories, they really belong to Sora.
So you mean I'm like a part of him?
At the end of Chain of Memories, Sora had to go to sleep in order to maintain his memories, but he was going to forget everything that happened at Castle Oblivion. And Shion existing is preventing him from being able to wake up and recollect his memories. She battles with this fact for quite a while, but she eventually comes to terms with it.
At first, I just wanted to be with Roxas and Axel forever, but then I started to realize that my memories, well, these aren't really even mine, are they?
So you're going back to Sora? If you return your memories to him, then you will disappear. So when you disappear, no one will remember you. There won't be any you to remember.
I know, I'm ready. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
And of course, nobody else would be able to put her down, except for Roxas. Of course, he would never want to, so she pretty much makes him do it.
You're next, Roxas. I have to make you a part of me too. Don't you see? This is why I was created.
As she fades away, all she says is that she's gonna be back with Sora, and it's where she belongs. And it's really sad that she doesn't see herself as her own person, even though she deserves to be.
It was my choice to go away now. I belong with Sora.
From the start, Roxas was very curious about where he came from and what he's even really doing in this world, but after he's forced to fight Xion, he goes searching for answers himself, and he starts making his way to Xemnas to get some answers. On the way there, he runs into Axel, and Axel's pretty pissed with him and Xion because Roxas and Xion have been going on their own expeditions to figure out who they are and not keeping Axel in the loop, and Axel is always being sent to pick up after them or bring them back.
You both think you can do whatever you want. Well, I'm sick of it. Go on, you just keep running, but I'll always be there to bring you back.
And he's just so upset that they can't just be friends and just go watch the sunset and eat ice cream, because that's all he wants. But little does he know that Roxas is on his way to Xemnas and Xion isn't here anymore. In reality, Roxas wants the same thing, but he wants answers more. On the way there, he runs into Riku, and they both have a very hard-fought battle. Riku has to tap into the darkness in order to beat Roxas. After he beats him, he takes him back to Diz, who made up a fake Twilight Town to put Roxas in. And then that's the end of 358/2 days, but that's not the end of Roxas and Axel's story. It continues in Kingdom Hearts 2, which we're getting into next. Kingdom Hearts 2 is damn near a perfect game, and it continues the story of Roxas and Axel, and also Sora, Donald, and Goofy. So, in the beginning of Kingdom Hearts 2, you start as Roxas on day 1 in Twilight Town, the fake Twilight Town. He's here unknowingly, and he's only here because Riku and Diz needed him safe so that he can return to Sora so that Sora can wake up. So in reality, what they're doing to Roxas is giving him a fake life until he can pretty much die. Even in his fake life, he finds some best friends named Hayner, Pence, and Olette. They plan to have a summer vacation together and go to the beach. But in reality, all of this is fake. And as the days go on, you can see things crumbling. The outside world is starting to bleed into it, and he just doesn't know what's going on. Axel is constantly making his way into that world and constantly confusing Roxas, but Roxas just doesn't know who he is. He never knows what Axel is talking about, and Axel always just seems so frustrated. But little does he know that they were friends. And Xemnas tasked him to go take him away, but he just can't bring himself to do it. On the final day of being in the fake Twilight Town, everything freezes and he's summoned to the mansion. It's now time for him to join Sora. As he makes his way down, he runs into Axel one final time.
You really do remember me this time. I'm so flattered. Let's meet again in the next life.
Yeah, I'll be waiting.
This entire time, Roxas was just fed up because he just wanted to live his summer with his friends. Even though the Twilight Town he was living in was fake, he felt comfort and solace in it, and he just wanted to live and be a child, just like how he was with Axel and Xion. But he couldn't have either of those lives, because his true intention was to return back to Sora so that Sora could wake up. So on the final day, you head to the mansion and give yourself back up to Sora.
No! My heart belongs to me! Sora. You're lucky. Looks like my summer vacation is over.
And then that's where Roxas' story comes to an end. Aqua, Terra, Ven, Xion, Axel, and Roxas have all gotten it pretty bad. They all pretty much don't have their lives anymore, and it's up to Sora to save them. and that's what Kingdom Hearts 3 was supposed to be all about. And it was. But I'm going to be talking all about Kingdom Hearts 3 in another video. But if you stuck around this long, thank you very much, and it would be great if you left a like. And if you left a comment, let me know if you agree or disagree with anything I said. But if we're talking about Kingdom Hearts 3, honestly, it was bad, sue me.